Thank you.
The gentleman from New York is recognized for 5 minutes question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Sauer, did you discuss the substance of your testimony here today with any members of this committee? Yes. Can you turn your microphone on?
I participated in a briefing yesterday afternoon with members of the subcommittee when my testimony had already been finalized.
And were any Democratic members included in that briefing?
I can't say for sure. I don't know all the members who were involved.
You don't know?
I don't know. I'm not as familiar with the membership of the committee as perhaps I should be.
And am I correct that, I'll just note for the record, there were no Democratic members in that briefing. But am I correct, sir, that you are one of the lawyers that brought the lawsuit that we are discussing here today?
That is correct.
So you're a party to that case?
No, I'm an attorney. That's very different.
Well, you represent Louisiana. You work for the Attorney General's Office of Louisiana, and Louisiana brought the case?
That's correct. It would be inaccurate to describe me as a party.
Okay. But you don't decide whether or not your arguments that you make in that case and that you're making here today are valid or not, do you?
They seem very valid to me. The judge will make a decision in our case.
The judge makes the decision, right?
Correct.
Not you. And as you know, the district court did not decide in its opinion whether your assertions are correct, right?
The district court dismissed the pending motion to dismiss by the Department of Justice, saying that we'd alleged sufficient facts to state claims, and we'll have a hearing in late May on our pending motion for preliminary injunction. He has not ruled on that yet.
Just so lay people can understand, a motion to dismiss just says that if the allegations that you make are true, you can continue with your claim. A preliminary injunction will actually address the evidence that you're discussing, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, are you expecting that the Department of Justice will appeal the motion to dismiss order?
You would have to ask them. Well, actually, the motion to dismiss order, it's very unlikely because there is no procedural right to appeal that. And so far, they haven't made any attempt to do that. It would be they would have to do that by pursuing what's called an extraordinary writ. That'd be very unusual. That said, I do not speak for them.
Do you read the news, sir?
I'm sorry?
Do you read the news?
Some news.
Are you aware of reporting that Donald Trump's defense attorney asked Republican members of the House of Representatives to intervene in an ongoing criminal investigation into himself in a local prosecutor's office?
I don't recall reading that.
Okay. If that were the case, would you consider that to be called, quote, directing, unquote, that the House of Representatives act on behalf of Donald Trump?
I would have to know many more facts before I'm able to make any kind of judgment like that.
Right. All right. Well, I just wanted to understand, because you talk a lot about directing here, that the government is directing, but then you also say that there's a compelling inference. Now, we lawyers understand that inferences only occur when you don't have direct evidence to support it, so I would also just want to note that.
We have overwhelming direct and
there's no
indirect
question.
evidence.
The sad reality here is that we are continuing to go down this phantom narrative that the White House or the Biden administration coerce social media companies into censoring anti-vaccine and election disinformation and misinformation. Now, we know why that is, because the members on the other side of the aisle believe that that disinformation and misinformation, if it gets out there, is politically beneficial to them. But unfortunately, neither you nor they have presented any direct evidence to support this. But I would actually submit that this hearing is more notable, not because of the topic and the witnesses, including 2 who were too afraid to stay and answer questions, but because of what we are not focusing on. Apparently, this committee is no longer focused on the so-called dozens and dozens of FBI whistleblowers who were supposedly going to show some massive government conspiracy to attack conservatives. 3 of them have now come in for transcribed interviews over a month ago. Where are those witnesses, Mr. Chairman? Let's bring them in. Bring them in right here so that the American people can see for themselves what the entire basis of this subcommittee is. Now, you want to talk about censorship? You imagined in your opening statement a world where the FBI sends a list of books that should be pulled from their shelves. Luckily, we don't have to imagine that, sir. Are you aware that recent laws in Florida have resulted in the mass removal of books that are now banned in public schools?
I don't know about Florida. I do know that we have sworn testimony from FBI agent Elvis Chan that directly backs up the analogy I drew in my opening statement.
Okay, well, you should go
Gentleman's
look into
time's
this.
expired.
You should go look into it because Florida right now is banning books, and you would agree that's a violation of the First Amendment.
Gentleman's
wouldn't you?
time's expired. Gentleman's time's expired.
Can the
And
witness
since-
answer the question? Would
No,
you
because you were
agree?
over your time. And because you addressed the chair, I'll tell you, stay tuned, Mr. Goldman. There's much more to come in this committee. The gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Kamek, is recognized.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications so every time I put out a video, you can know about it. It'll come up in your feed. Hit that like button if you liked it. And be positive. Peace.